nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is the Preble Town Board meeting of September 12th, 2022. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes from August?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Jen?
The dog report, we did not receive a report from them for the last month. I did not receive a report from the Justice Department.
Okay, thank you. Highway report, Jeff?
Should all have a copy of this month's report. FEMA was in last month. Gentleman came in from Oregon, so we've hit about 7 states now. And walked it over, and he wants to see it broken down a little differently. And it's doable. It's just different than what our state rep had been doing. So, the left coast is doing things a little different, but so we're working on getting that hammered out. Just a point of information, next week I'll be out at the highway conference, and I'd also like to board pass resolution declaring a used 1993 sander. The items listed at the bottom of the highway report, some Dayton truck hubs and rims, scanner antenna, and some old two-way radios, the surplus, so I can put them on the auction site. And you've all got a copy of the budget. My cheater amendment sheet that I've used for a few years now, and it's I sent that on to Gina also to see where that was going to put us, so we can kind of get I want to talk to Dave and Jim about that, but I kind of want to get a feel where we're at to start with. So, but that's everybody knows what the price of fuel and everything. Salt, we just got the new salt price, $61.40 a ton. It's up from $54 last year. So that's significant. Usually it goes up 80 cents to $1.50 a year, maybe, but that's a big increase. And the blue stuff that you see the state put on the road, it's about $72 a ton. So you're actually approaching the price of blacktop. So once the blacktop lasts you 10 or 12, 15 years, the salt sometimes doesn't last you 20 minutes. So any questions?
No questions. We can make that resolution for the board to pass a resolution declaring a used 1993 sander, Dayton truck hubs and rims, a scanner antenna, and some old two-way radios as surplus, so they can be put on auction international online site. Somebody say so moved.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, good. Any other questions for Jeff?
How do you make out with Crawford up there? Is that a done deal yet?
We're going to talk about that in a little while.
Okay.
But thanks.
Yep.
Okay, recreation. Hank, anything to say for recreation?
No, I just get on that mower and go.
Well, the grass is growing again. The grass is growing again.
Geez, I guess it is, yeah.
Yeah,
I enjoy it though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any activity in that ball field?
Oh, I take care of the ball field all the time. I get the thing right down so it's,
Do we have any activity on it? Anybody playing on
well,
it?
the other day I was in my house, and I looked down there and there was like 5 or 6 cars pulled in there next to the building right there.
Mm-hmm,
But I don't know what happened there.
mm-hmm. Okay,
So I don't hear any thing about anything mostly.
mm-hmm,
If I just see something,
right,
but other than that,
okay.
Yeah.
County legislature, Kevin is not here tonight. Jen?
hey, Jim,
Yes.
just for that old sign on the building there, is that worth it? That it's backed up against the boat where the,
The sign,
yeah,
what sign?
well, there used to be a sign where they put stuff up there.
Oh, you mean,
Yeah, billboard or
the
whatever.
outfield, the outfield wall, right? The
Yeah.
outfield wall? There's plywood coming down from that, it's deteriorating.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we'll move on here.
Yep.
Jen, go ahead.
Zoning and code enforcement, August report. 3 building permits issued, 88 miles traveled, 17 building inspections, 91 hours worked, 2 fire inspections, 5 complaint follow-ups, 37 telephone inquiries. The next planning board meeting is September 28th at 7 PM. The next ZBA meeting is October 6th at 7:30 PM.
Thanks, Jen. Historian, we don't have Jay in today. Historian report. Jen,
Town clerk fees collected in August, $430, dispersed, $420 to the town and $10 to New York State Ag and Market.
okay, we'll start with unfinished business. Jim, can you give us an update?
I haven't heard anything from National Grid. You haven't.
I haven't
Have you,
either.
Jen? No.
Okay.
So
we're
it's
still
been
waiting.
like 5 weeks, but
We're
you
still
know, I
waiting.
see their National Grid gets their bill right here on time.
Mhm.
But no, I haven't heard.
Okay. We'll hear eventually from them.
Yeah.
And we will just keep it on unfinished business every month and,
Yeah.
you know, keep
Yeah.
updating it. New business, we are looking for someone, I'm not necessarily asking you guys, you know, to participate in this, but, someone for the newsletter. Don Fisher, he's done it for probably 4 or 5 years and he wants to move on to other things, so he wants to hand it off to somebody else. But if you know of somebody, friends, family, relatives, anybody who would like to get involved with helping to publish the newsletter, we need to find somebody because he would like to bow out in the next month or two. And there's gonna be a month of overlap where he shows somebody what to do on that. So we just wanna put it out there that we are looking for somebody and there's some compensation in that position too, for doing the newsletter. So we are looking for someone for that. Jim Harris, short-term real estate rental situation. That's
Yeah, I
something you
had,
want to talk about?
Yes, I've had over 6 residents from Song Lake ask give me their concerns about short-term rentals, Airbnbs being on the lake. And there's 3 right now, and there's 2 more coming that we know of right now. And the people are concerned with, because it's daily, it's a daily rental, and the owners don't even have to be there, everything's done online. They don't need, they screen them, and they have probably some pretty good processes, but I haven't heard any really instances of complaints from the people there renting the places besides it's being a hookup. The cars come in. I mean, I live right next to one, but cars can come in during the night, and so forth. We had problems the first year he did it last year, but with drugs and stuff. But since then, it's been good. But there's out-of-state people come in. So the concern is like if there's 4 or 5 cars there, and the septic systems, you know, are they adequate to take care of things? And the residents feel that people that are just renting it, they don't have to live there. They just come and do what they want to and leave. And so, and they're looking at it like, if there was any other businesses there with retail or people coming, it's a residential area. So they don't feel that there's, this adequate business to have in a residential area. So I had a resident, give me information, that they presented to the, Song Lake Association meeting about various towns, making laws, against, short-term rentals. There's, Skinny Atlas, Town of Salina, Village of Cazenovia, there's, these, Skinny Atlas actually was taken to court and this, they went to Supreme Court and prevailed. So, and New York City has been that way for, I think, quite a few years where because they was cutting in on the businesses of the hotels, so they made it all against the law for short-term rentals. Anything 30 days or less constitutes a short-term rental. So, I sent you information on that because people have contacted me, and so I wanted to present that, and I wanted to talk about if the board, I know the zoning board is doing work on this zoning. So I haven't contacted anybody, but I don't know if you're up to date on what they're, doing, or I can contact Amy Patini. She would,
Yeah, because I think it's a planning board versus a ZBA.
It's a planning board?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
Planning board is who's reviewing the
Oh, yeah,
ordinance.
okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It does, that business does give a neighborhood a more transient nature to it. People coming and going that
Yeah.
you'll never see again, and you got new people coming in all the time, where you don't really know who your neighbor is so much.
That's right, yeah, you see
Yeah.
notice, New Jersey license
Yeah.
plates, Florida.
And, they're there for the short term and they're leaving the next day and they don't care about the lake either,
Mhm.
so.
So I did have some success today. I talked to Jim on this a little bit this morning. And I did reach out to the Association of Towns. Sent an email and left a message. And I'm just having to pick, there was a listing of 2 or 3 attorneys, so I just picked number 2. Katie, I forgot her last name, but she called me back. And she's actually if you've looked in the Association of Towns material, there's a seminar you can put on, a 1-day seminar, I think. Maybe it's not all day, but on this topic. And there's 3 locations. One is in Canandaigua. They're talking about the planning board, because I think we're all hoping that you'll send us to the the last one's in Lake Placid, so they were hoping that we could attend that one. And of course, you don't say it like they on the side, but
In February.
no, actually, no, it's in October. Yeah, so, but so she's, in a 10-minute conversation, she seemed to be up to date out there. And this is an area of litigation. Okay, and she said something about a Fifth Circuit case, like I knew what this ruling was, but there's a recent ruling where it's actually, according to her, if my understanding is correct, blanket prohibitions are ruled unconstitutional. There was a kind of due process, but economic interest argument. So it's being muchly litigated. So after I asked her if you could watch this, presentation online. She said, no, not while these 3 live presentations are being made, but she said they will put together a webinar after the 3rd presentation in Lake Placid. So I sent her an email back before I came here, just asking her if she, first of all, thanking her, because she did send me a sample of the local law that another town's enacted, and also asking if she would try and keep me in mind of it, let me know our schedule, so, because I think it's going to be worthwhile watching, be up to date. So But what I can do, I can email this to everyone. The local law was filed in October of 21. I didn't know where this township was. Canadice, Canadice. It's in Ontario County. I never heard of it, but in any event, I'll send an email, I'll give them out, so you can take a look at that. So that is something, to review and consider. And I think eventually this proposed ordinance is gonna come to the town board. And so I don't know whether the planning board will pull from this, for example, and put something from this in there, but it's probably worth looking at. Just to,
So it'd be a zoning issue
yeah,
coming from the planning board.
yeah, and ultimately it's the town board that will be enacting the zoning ordinance, and so you would ultimately be deciding whether you're happy or want some language in there or not, and what we end up putting in there. So,
Yeah, so the board needs to stay abreast of this issue.
that's no question, it's a hot and growing topic.
And having 2 lakes in our town, well, 3 lakes, we're affected by it.
Yes.
But I've talked to people too, just for skiing, stuff like, this Airbnb is gonna be a real hot thing. For more than just certainly the lakes are probably top of the list, but.
Right.
Just to come up and spend some time in God's country for a weekend or whatever.
Right.
So the planning board will be getting all this information.
I've already emailed it out to Sue and Amy,
Okay.
for Sue Wright, so she can forward it out. Yep, they'll have that.
Okay. So we'll keep up with that. Monies received, we received from USPS, $779. Cortland County second quarter sales tax, $144,421.48. From Northeast Transformers, $1,771.89. So we have executive session that we'll be going into because we have various topics concerning litigation to discuss. But before we go into executive session, we're going to open up the meeting for public comment.
Your county attorney.
Oh, right. Kevin, you're up.
Sorry about being late.
It's okay.
We're docking your pay.
Huh?
We're docking your pay.
Oh, I came all the way from Stonehenge. To get here.
Rained out.
Yeah. No, we got through it. Then it rained. Then I ran. Yeah.
So you want to give us what you've got for tonight?
Really, not tons. So they had the foreclosure sales for Cortland County. The question is that I have is the one that we held out. I just wanted to know where you were at with review of that property.
We're in the process of discussing that to see if it's viable for the town to work with. If not, then we'll give it back to the county and say, go ahead and put it on the next time.
Yeah. Okay.
But you gave us a year to think about it and discuss it, so.
Yours good.
Yeah.
Let's see, so we were in recess, July, August. We're still looking at, so that CCTVS meeting is always the Wednesday before session. So that's the CCTVS is county, city, town, village, schools. So that's a time where we put up a topic and then we really want municipalities, to be able to come, at least have a representative
And
there.
any of the board members are welcome to go to that.
Everybody is welcome, even public is welcome to do that. So the hot topic for this month is the shared services with tax collection. It's just a way of kind of just brainstorming. Municipalities can either buy into it, they don't have to buy into it. But what we're looking at shared services is to be able to work with the municipalities so that the county can collect everyone's taxes and then distribute out. But we're gonna have real property there, other groups in the county. At least just to go and start talking, finding out where municipalities are, what concerns they might have with that tax collection, so that we can, answer all the questions. There's, as we know, with the state, there is a lot of money there for shared services. And it's not the only topic there is for that, but it is coming this month. So I wanted everyone to be aware of that. Other than that,
Does anybody have any questions for Kevin concerning county issues?
Do you know where we're at on that Grant Street project?
Grant,
Grant Street, where the veterans are gonna be using half of the building, we're gonna use the other half for storage or whatever's going on there.
that I can say is in the air. We're looking at selling it, selling that property. We're working with Tompkins Cortland Community College for the Extension Center, looking at what we can do with that. I mean, it's a pretty brand new building at the Extension Center. We're also looking at that. Working with SUNY Cortland, TC3, Cornell University to have students from those colleges to be able to come into the Extension Center and tutor, or have the ability to open up tutoring for free for high school students to help them, get on track. Sometimes they have problems talking to the teachers, but if we can get them more on a kind of a peer-to-peer, they're more open. So we're trying to look at that right now. You guys, everyone knows that Voyant and their sister little company that assists them are pulling out of Cortland County, so it's 500 plus jobs. We are having, the county is having a job fair for that. There's plenty of jobs in Cortland County for them to move over to. We just gotta make sure that we get them.
But it is gonna be a great loss for Portland County because
Oh, absolutely.
those are manufacturing jobs.
Yep.
And a manufacturing job is worth a lot more than a service job for the community.
But a lot of, like Burn Dairy is one that's looking to expand. We do have other manufacturing companies in Portland that want to expand. So this is pretty much a good opportunity for them at this point.
Okay. Any other questions for Kevin? Okay, thanks for coming, Kevin.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so before we go into executive session, we would like to open up the meeting for public comment or questions. If anybody has any questions about anything, or if you want to make a comment about something, this is the time to do it. Anybody? Okay, then, yeah.
About having a letter drawn up, mailed to the election board, to have the polling station moved back to the firehouse.
Okay, let me give you an update on that. That was an issue last winter that we discussed. In fact, there was a lady here who came that wanted who was prompting us to put that letter forth, and we decided we would. And so I know that she came again and asked about the status, and I said, well, I haven't heard anything yet. Well, okay, so a few months went into maybe the late spring, early summer, and I actually went to the Board of Elections office, talked to Bob Howe personally, and I asked him about the letter. I didn't get any acknowledgement. Did you receive our letter? with all of our signatures? And he said, yes, we did. I said, well, we haven't heard anything from you. And he didn't really say much, and I asked, well, can we move it back to the fire station? He says, no, I don't think that's gonna happen. He says, we have decided, meaning the Board of Elections, we have decided that we like the Calvary Baptist Church better because it's a newer, more modern building with handicap accessibility to it. So at that point, you know, I didn't know what to say because the Board of Elections says this is the place we want to hold elections.
I just can't believe the town doesn't have a say in it. I don't see how it's more handicap accessible. It's a gravel driveway, and you gotta go up over a lip to get into the place. Firehouse, they open up the doors and wheel right in.
Yeah.
I just can't believe,
Yeah.
how can I do that? What you be on?
I'm more than happy to get on. But there is the Board of Elections, that's totally, it's part of the county, but it's separate from the county. But I'm more than happy to I'll pull my weight for you. And where's the signatures?
Well, we wrote a letter and we all signed it and we sent it to Bob Howe and he received it.
The signatures of the town
The
board?
town board members, right, members of the board.
Okay.
And so anyway, I did sort of my own research too. I just going around to people that I know, friends, neighbors, people that I bump into. I asked them, you know, what do you think about the new polling place? And most people really didn't care one way or the other. Some people said, I like the new building because it's a new modern building. And then there were a handful of people who said, I don't like it because of separation of church and state in their head. So I would say the responses that I got was across the whole spectrum of what I could get. But I would say most of the people kind of fit in the middle of the curve, you know, that they just said, I don't really care, right, about it doesn't matter. And,
You know,
and,
most
and
people I talk to, they're pretty upset about it. They get to thinking the else is all we're changing it. It's been
Right.
there 60 years,
Right.
and somebody just, we're just gonna change it.
Right.
We have no say in it, which is
Right.
totally wrong.
and people were calling me too, saying, why is the election polling place changed? And I said, it has nothing to do with the town board. I said, it has to do with the Board of Elections. And so we did follow through with some of those complaints and we did write a letter. But it seemed like they did not want to.
I kind of got right let higher up and above their heads or something, because it ain't right. It's just not right at all. No way is that right, that they can just change it, and we just all write a letter, we'll change it. If we do it, well, we're not gonna.
I don't know what power we really have, Kevin. Do we have power in that regard? Because the Board of Elections can choose where they want to set up their shop, right?
You know, the primaries we had, they had food bank down there. And I've seen people start to pull in that was gonna vote and they just turned away and went away because the parking lot was full. Because the lines of cars going through there. That was inconvenient for them.
Let me touch base, and let me hold a meeting with them.
Okay,
And, I mean, to me, why they wanted to pick this battle is beyond me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always worked.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they picked the battle, other
you said it had
than,
to do with handicap accessibility.
it has nothing to do with that. I think what we're finding, and even in the town of Scott, is that, you know, your tellers were people that were from here. And all of a sudden, they're not from here anymore. I mean, we don't even know who our tellers were, you know, in our town. So, you know, they're the ones that I have a feeling complain that it's cold or whatever the complaint is. And I think that is probably what they decided to do, you know, for that. On the side of church and state, and your attorney can probably take a look at this one as well. Town of Scott, we had the same problem. You know, it was at the Methodist church, and at one time the town board, when I was supervisor, we were looking at moving our town hall into the community, I guess you could say it was. So we contacted the state because of the separation of church and state. And the separation is the sanctuary. So the sanctuary is the church. Technically, you, the town, could tax the parking lot in the square footage that is not the sanctuary. You don't do it just because it's the church. But you do have that ability to do that. So that is why they were telling us that, sure, you could go there, you could put your business there and, for the municipality. You just couldn't do business in the sanctuary. So that was where the separation comes from between church and state. That was a written ruling that we received when we were looking at that part. So if the if it's being held outside of the sanctuary for voting, then it's still there. I'm not saying it's right or wrong for anything else, but absolutely, I'll
Talk to Board of Elections and for us on our behalf and just
let's
Buy them
see.
again.
Let's see what the chair of the legislature has. I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay. All right, so
We do deal with their budgets, right? We'll hold their, and it's
Well,
online.
I know that.
It's online. We'll hold their budgets hostage.
Well, I talked about how he's pretty rude guy. He was rude,
who was that?
not how,
Bob Hill?
and he's a jerk. Talking about one is So,
Who is the other?
Am I wrong?
Who's the Democrat in the Board of Elections? What is his name?
Bob,
West?
no,
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody know?
yes, but I can't think.
What's
Tom Brown.
Tom Brown.
Tom Brown,
There you go.
right. So we can talk to Tom Brown too. Somebody can.
Well, we can pull them both.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make come to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's still in the works.
Right.
Okay, anybody else with any questions for the town board? Questions or comments? You want to talk about anything?
Hi, I'm Alex Dool. I
Mhm.
just moved in up on Preble Road. I
Okay,
was just curious what you guys, I was up to bid on the old Morgan house.
Mhm.
I see it was taken down. I didn't know what you guys planned on doing with it, or
well, right now,
talked about it, or
yeah,
I'm only interested in the barn that's on it. Didn't know if
Okay.
we could work out a deal, something. You guys, I heard you wanted to put in a pond, protected pond.
well, we're talking about different things. Jeff, do you want to comment on this at all?
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey Alex, how you doing?
Good.
Jeff is our highway
No,
superintendent.
Yep.
For the last 30-some years that I've been involved with the fire department, every 6 or 8 years, we have a flooding issue on the north side of your house. It's had water in the
Yep.
basement. Mike Reynolds has had it around as well. I pumped a little water out of Banner's old house. Pierce's, that basement's been right full of water. And the old Mosier house had water issues. And my concern, I said, well, it might be a good opportunity to help all those people, 5, 6 different homeowners, maybe not have a problem every 5 or 6 years in water in the basement. If there's something, you go a lot of other places down through Portland like that, you see retention ponds, for runoff to keep it from getting into town. And my biggest concern is that everybody knows they flood every 7, 8 years is one thing. But something happens on that property and they flood every year or every other year, then there's gonna be a lot of people in here. So I've talked to Amanda Barber at the Soil and Water District, and she's looking into some ideas as far as what we might be able to do because water basically comes down the east side of Wright Road, across a little bit across the pasture, and then it just starts banking in. And if we can do something, that's not saying it couldn't be. And it's all up to Don, I don't know, but it's being looked at right now and there's an opportunity that a few of us felt really didn't want to miss. And then have somebody do something to that property, now everybody floods all the time.
Right.
So just looking into it, Alex.
Yeah, okay.
So there's nothing definite, we're just exploring issues on that property to see what might be the best for it. But it may come up where the town doesn't even wanna pursue it.
Yeah.
So.
Would there be able to do some sort of like joint ownership of it if you guys put in the pond? All I was gonna do was keep the barn, tear the house down, and propose letting you guys do whatever you wanted on it as far as the pond. But
Like I said, it's still in the planning stage. If
Okay.
the soil and water says we could do it on half the property or something, and sell off the other half or something.
right,
I
'Cause there's
think
not much
that's
there.
very
There's
doable.
only
It's
like-
very, very early yet. 'cause
Yeah.
This has been a long-term problem, and it's just, you know, all those things that right at the last little bit, I guess, you know, if there's something we can do to keep people from flooding all the time, it'd be a good thing.
yeah, it definitely helps out.
Well, your place included.
Yeah.
But I understand that you'd like a little more.
Yeah.
That may, it's good to talk about it and get it on the table. and
Yeah, I just wanted to
we can
see
figure
what was
something
going
out.
on. Yeah.
So you live right next door to that?
Yep,
property?
1839.
Okay.
Just want to move my fence 20 feet. I could have another shop, but I just don't know how to go about doing it. I was just gonna try to bid on it in the auction and saw it was taken down, so I just wanted to see what was going on.
Yeah, still up in the air, so, we can get back to you.
Yeah.
Once we decide
Thanks for letting me
what's the
speak.
best course of action.
Kevin, if it were returned, these tax sales happen what, once a year? I mean, I don't know, is it to do
Once
more?
a year, they have pretty much a 3-year frequency,
So this,
so it's every, right, but like that property would then go right up.
a year, but probably would be a year.
Yeah,
from
we
now.
have yearlies, it's just that we can't put it on the rolls until, or for auction until it's been 3 years in foreclosure.
Which it has been here, it was ready for sale, right?
Yep.
So that means it would be up, if you guys, it would be up next year again.
I would think it wouldn't be
Yeah.
until then.
Yep.
I don't think it'd be sooner than that.
Okay, any more questions on that issue? Okay. Anybody else have anything that they want to talk about? Okay, then, why don't we pay the bills before we go into executive session? We need a motion to pay the general fund vouchers.
Make a motion to pay general fund vouchers abstracts number 9, numbers 163 to 179, totaling $24,126.84.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Alright,
Carried. Need a motion to pay the highway fund vouchers.
I'll make a motion to pay the highway fund vouchers, abstract number 9, numbers 97 to 109, totaling $214,209.07.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, at this time, Preble Town Board is going to go into executive session to discuss some issues pertaining to potential litigation.
We have a good motion, yeah.
Okay, Kevin, thanks for coming. We need a motion to go into highway executive session at 7:39.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Carried. You got that down, Jen?
Good, thank
Okay,
you.
thanks.
Our eyes and ears.
Smile.
I think so.